it good? No, actually, you know what? They were trying the best they could to fuck up their draft position, weren't they? I guess you got to give the Bears that. They were trying today. Now, what the hell was wrong with the Eagles? But they certainly weren't at their best. And the Bears stuck a game to them, made it very tough for them, and even gave a bit of a wonder in the second half whether the Bears could actually find a way to win the game. Until you realize that either Matt Eberflus is fully and completely bought in on the tank, or a complete fucking moron. And you really, really hope to God it's the first one. You wonder, though, if it might be the second one. Yeah. So anyways, the Bears lost 25-20 to the Eagles today. And I'm sure Bears fans are trying to give themselves a pep talk, and they're trying to sit there and feel positive and feel good about this. They're trying to sell themselves on the positives. Let's look at the upside. The upside of this is that Justin Fields didn't get killed, even though at one point, a couple of times, he took some big hits. How about Ndamukong Suh basically just looking like he was going to peanut punch him, and he connects in the fucking head? Where the hell's the offensive line there? Not only, of course, do the refs not call the flag, because apparently if Justin Fields takes a shot to the head when he's trying to slide, it doesn't count. It's not a penalty. For anybody else it frickin' is, but not for Justin Fields. Where the hell's the offensive line standing up for their dude? But Justin Fields technically made it through this game unscathed, even though he had the leg injury late in the fourth quarter. He finished the game. All right, good. 3 games left. Let's get to the finish line without fucking him up for 2023. So maybe that's a positive. You could sit there and say, hey, Kyler Gordon made some big plays today. That was your top pick in this past April's draft. There's another positive if you want to latch onto that. The team was competitive and fought. The defense forced a couple of turnovers. And there were positives to be had. They were in the game in the fourth quarter. Until they realize that they suck, and that likely their head coach and coaching staff are morons. Yeah. At the end of the day, though, they kept their draft position and technically improved it because the Bears lost, the Broncos won. That means right now, as of this moment, the Bears sit in the second overall spot in the draft. You want a positive, there it is. Lose the last 3, Chicago. There's absolutely nothing that can be gained by winning a meaningless regular season game in December or January. Nothing! Nothing! You are this close to being in position to get into a draft slot that will fundamentally position your organization really, really well. And no, not to fucking take goddamn Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, that's dumb. Is to get somebody else, one of these quarterback desperate teams, to trade up to your spot. There's the franchise changing trade right there. Because again, if you want to talk about the Eagles, this is the team you look at. You say in a year from now, this is what you want to look like in the mirror. Even with as bad as the Eagles played today, you can see the difference between the two teams. Jalen Hurts in the passing game, much better. Even though Jalen Hurts, I'll grant you, did not look great at times and threw a couple of picks. One of those was clearly on his wide receiver, though. But they had a deep vertical passing game. A.J. Brown had a big day. Devontae Smith had a big day. If you look at the positives, you say, hey, man, Jalen Johnson had some nice moments here. He looked good in this game. He did. Kyler Gordon had moments. He looked good. He did. And yet, and still, within that, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown each went over 100 yards receiving. A.J. Brown had like 180 yards receiving. But, lose it all, Chicago! It's the only thing that matters at this point. Unfortunately, in terms of bad news, Tevin Jenkins with the neck injury, I don't know as of this moment like how serious that injury was, but it certainly wasn't good that he got carted off like he did. As you're looking at that and you're saying, Right now, after Justin Fields, Tevin Jenkins is the best player on that offense. Like, legitimately. If you're talking about offensive building blocks, it's Justin Fields, and then it's Tevin Jenkins. It really is. You hate to see him go down. And, like, guys were dropping like flies here. Tevin Jenkins goes down. Equinemius St. Brown goes down. Jack Sanborn at one point, he went out. And you're like, shit! You don't want to see any guys pick up any serious injuries that could potentially put their fate for the beginning of 2023 in jeopardy. But anyways, as far as this game goes, you better really, really hope that Matt Eberflus is fully bought into the tank. And that's why he did some of the stupid shit he did today. Because if not, he's a complete and fucking total moron. The example, the first one, punting it instead of trying to kick the 48-yard field goal. And it got revealed a little later that, hey, Cairo Santos begged off of the field goal, and there is a problem in and of itself. You want to talk about positive spins? Well, here's a negative one. A position that had been a problem a few years ago for the Bears with Cody Parkey, all of a sudden he thought was solved for with Cairo Santos, and all of a sudden this guy's got the extra point yips. And now he doesn't want to kick a 48-yard damn field goal. But you're seriously going to punt it there? You're not even going to try to go for it? It doesn't matter the distance at that point. Because even if your punt goes well, you're not flipping the field that much from a field position standpoint. That's stupid. And frankly, you should be calling your plays in a situation where if you know your kicker's not going to kick it from beyond a certain distance, then you know what? You got to fucking go for down territory and change your play calls. As much as you want to blame Gutless Getsy, or I do, because it's easy to do, because he is proven to be a fucking moron. Put him up. I'm the offensive coordinator. I got courage. At the end of the day, Matt Eberflus is the decision maker. He is the head MFer in charge on the field. And he signs off on this shit. And then you look at the third quarter. And here the Bears are all of a sudden. They're within 5. Now, keep that in mind. You can either kick the extra point with the kicker who has the yips on extra points to draw within 4, or you could go for 2. And you're in the second half, so at that point, the money clearly goes to, you gotta go for 2 there. Because if you get it, it's only a field goal gain now. If you miss it, or you hit the extra point, guess what? You still need a touchdown to win. It doesn't make a real fucking bit of difference. So instead, this dumb dick kicks the extra point. The fuck are you doing? And then you look at the frickin' play in the fourth quarter when Jalen Hurts had the easy touchdown run right up the middle. Who's the idiot that called that safety blitz like that left the middle of the field entirely wide frickin' open against an athletic mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts? Who the fuck does that? If you want to wear a tinfoil hat and think that Matt Eberflus is in on the tank, you watch shit like today, you have a very compelling, interesting story combined with some of the other evidence you've seen in recent weeks. And if that's the case, then so fucking be it. He's in on the tank. But ladies and gentlemen, I think he's just a fucking moron right now. I don't think he's trying to buy into the tank. I think he's really a moron. His game management, situation management, defensive play calls, bad. And much you might want to blame Alan Williams, defensive coordinator. Matt Eberflus, at the end of the day, is the CEO of the team on the field. He's the fucking defensive guru at head coach. He's a fucking idiot. So as much as you want to look at positive spin, look at what he did with Justin Fields. Like, I don't give a shit if he came back in and even let him on a touchdown drive. They were down 12 at that point. There's a fucking law of diminishing return there. The reward is vastly outweighed by the risk of putting Justin Fields back in there. That was reckless and stupid. And you still lost the fucking game anyways. And frankly, based off of the way you were coaching, if you want to believe that he was trying to tank and he bought into the tank, then it's even more reckless to put Justin Fields back in the fucking game because he just might be the guy to frickin' do it. Leave it in Nathan Peterman's hands. You know you'll lose then. Velus Jones Jr., another opportunity with the ball in his hands today. Another fucking fumble. Oh, he's figuring it out. No, Ryan Poles reached 2 to 3 rounds early on a 25-year-old project gadget player, and the dude can't keep the ball off the fucking ground. He sucks. He's a bust. Bye, bitch. Let's talk about the genius of the offensive coaching staff. And again, I go to Eberflus. You know, the Eagles can get after opposing quarterbacks. Hassan Reddick is having a great year off the edge. So yes, let's have the platoon of Riley Reef. This is how stupid it sounds. Riley Reef and Alex Leatherwood are going to platoon. Because that's smart, right? No, that's fucking stupid. That's what a stupid coaching staff does. Stupid. Like the whole Kevin Jenkins, Lucas Patrick rotation. Stupid fucking stupid. You're going to rotate in 2 guys at right tackle, and then you're going to leave them on a fucking island to block Hassan Reddick. Duh, that might not be a good idea. That might get your face in the franchise freaking killed. And as much as people are going to talk about the midway magic of Justin Fields as a runner, and he is great, and he is tremendous, and he is dynamic. He's over 1,000 yards rushing for the season. You know, the single-season rushing record as a quarterback is still technically in play for him. The reality is that's all fine and good, but all this magic with his feet, and his team is still ultimately 3-11. You have to be able to throw the ball more consistently than this Bears offense can. To which you're going to say, well, look what he had around him today. He had a freaking mash unit and a hodgepodge of scrubs. He absolutely did. And I point that out to say, you really trust Ryan Poles to sit there and fix that? The way he fixed that was signing a bunch of wide receiver 4s and 5s like Equanimeous St. Brown and Dante Pettis and Byron Pringle. Trading a second-round pick that now looks like it's going to be a top 35 pick on Chase Claypool. Oh, who, by the way, did not play today. He drafted Velus Jones Jr. in the 3rd round. It's a good thing he did, too, because when somebody else, another team would have taken him 2 or 3 rounds later and he'd have fumbled for them, it wouldn't have hurt the Bears. So you got to make sure you bring him into the fucking fold and reach on him. Like, as much as you want to sit there and pretend like there's a ton of reason to be positive here, it's still really, really hard to evaluate Justin Fields as a thrower. And that's what it's going to come down to him in terms of how high his upside is as a passer and ultimately how high the upside of the Bears is with him. He can run. He's not a bust because he can run. He's not a bust. He's not busting Fields. But you look at the Eagles and their passing game, you look at the Bears and their passing game, and you see just how far departed they are. Even when Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense did not have the best of days today, he was still able to throw for over 300 yards. You still got killed multiple times by A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. This shit is night and day different. And you think it would have been any fucking different with Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool in the lineup? Bitch, please. When I look at some of the bigger things, and even all the talk about, well, the Bears could sit there and get the 2nd overall pick. That's great. But what makes you trust Ryan Poles to even do the right thing with that? As I look at this coaching staff, and I say, who hired him? Fucking Ryan Poles did. Some of you are going to point to, well, they played hard. Players used to play hard for Dick Duran, too. That didn't mean he was any fucking good. Like effort my ass. Oh, he's coaching up guys, getting more out of them. Is he really? Are they really? Just saying. Again, what I'm gonna go for is this. Is Justin Fields is healthy, relatively speaking, at this point in the season. The Bears lost. The Broncos won. And he's right now, the Bears have sole possession of the number 2 overall pick. And at this point in time, you got 3 weeks left in this season, 3 games left. That's the only thing that matters. Winning would be the worst thing that this organization could do at this point.